Today's America's Cup Racing is brought to you by Mum Champagne.
This is the match. This is the big show. This is the America's Cup.
Not since 1983 has there been a 3-3 scoreline.
It's the same for both teams. We both feel that we could have more points on the scoreboard.
This edition of the match is turning into a classic. Right now, it's anyone's cup.
The results do the talking, and you have to look at the scoreline, and so far the scoreline has both teams pretty even.
We still don't know who the quicker boat is here yet, right?
What we've got is a really close yacht race, and it's definitely shaping up to be a pretty interesting series.
It's the first to 7. Pick this one at your peril.
It's pretty obvious that the boats are very similar in performance.
We are locked at 3 race wins apiece in this 36th America's Cup match.
Obviously, everything comes down to some pretty small margins. These boats are going very fast.
The Italians are not going away. This is not a runaway train for the Kiwis right now.
From an event point of view, it's fantastic to see. All squared up, all to play for.
Kia ora koutou katoa and welcome to Aotearoa, New Zealand, where we prepare for Day 5 of the America's Cup on the waters of the Hauraki Gulf. The weather gods put the brakes on racing yesterday. Today the forecast is far more friendly, which means the rivalry between Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli and Emirates Team New Zealand has got the green light for go. Which means the battle for sailing's holy grail, the 36th America's Cup, is back on. The Italians and Kiwis are deadlocked. It's 3-all. Both teams are just 4 wins away from victory. Let's head to the course. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli has port entry, Emirates Team New Zealand starboard.
Looks like quite a bit bigger jib on the Luna Rossa boat, Nathan, than the Kiwi boat right now. Really one of the only real noticeable differences.
Yeah, that's a really good pickup. It's an indication on maybe one team thinks the wind's going to build a little bit, but again, I still think, look at this start, you know, Team New Zealand here are really trying to put a bit of pressure on them, trying to block the jibe here, or at least thinking about jibing inside here. Let's follow this, see how they go. There you go,
Jumping them and getting back early. Let's listen on board.
Out on the breeze. 2, 1, feet up, 2 board. He's still boarding here. No, slow. He's pushing.
Looking like they're above ley line and looking like they're quite early.
24 on pin.
Quite early, and actually being slow there for a second actually was a benefit to the Italians. They got a nice little gap. Hurling's going to have to bear away at some stage.
Can see a big gap between the boats when the start comes. Wide right for Italy here.
Here comes the slingshot move for Spithill.
Both boats over the line right now, having to do a big bear away to get going. It's all about the slingshot here.
Race 7 of the America's Cup match. We're at 3-all. Can anyone make a big move today?
They got tight there, Nathan, right at the end. Burling actually slowed the boat down a bit and got it tight. Is it tight enough to be able to fend off their position as they head towards this for the first time?
Well, it got tight and a little luff starting to come in, but Luna Rossa were over 5 knots faster at their gun, and look at this, they're starting to roll over them. Peter Burling goes for the luff, Jimmy Spithill responds, and now all of a sudden, Jimmy's pressing. You can hear Francesco Brenner saying, press, press, press. Clear win for Luna Rossa in that start.
Really similar starting setup to race 1, Nathan, except it was a flip-flop. It was the other boat. It was the Kiwis starting the race so much quicker than the Italians. This is exact flip-flop, but really similar pattern to race 1.
Well played by Jimmy. I mean, they came back with so much time, more than 2 and 1 on the clock, and really did well to hit that line on time. A good half a knot or 1 knot quicker than the Kiwis. I mean, really well done. And tiny differences. And what we're seeing now is how that tiny difference just grows and grows and grows.
The Kiwis are keen to engage Luna Rossa in attacking duel, and we know that's a big strength of the Italians, and they've thrown in more tacks in the bottom half of this beat than we've seen previously. I'll be interested to see what the next move is from Emirates Team New Zealand. Have they just got their air clear forwards? This game is changing very quickly from the heli.
And then a match race broke out, you know, just tight. If you're the Italians right now, at least if I were on the Italian boat, I'm thinking that boat behind me is really fast. I'm just going to sit here and block and block and block, and they're going to have to really work to get through me.
I think when we see the meters get inside 50, that's when the danger zone starts to begin for Luna Rossa. Outside of that, they're still comfortable, but at some point up this beat, they've got to tack on their face, and they've got to give them disturbed air. Otherwise, New Zealand are going to keep closing this lead.
Luna Rossa are leading the way, but it's not a huge margin. Look who is right on their hammer. That's Emirates Team New Zealand. As Kenny Reid said, this is a match race.
1 way go. 5, 3, 2, 1. We're coming down.
Racing's often a bit about your turn, my turn. See if Luna Rossa jibe in front or if they continue on here, but without doubt, Luna Rossa are holding their own on this downwind.
They're letting them go, I think, right now, because they'll probably try to work the geometry of the race course and go for 1 and in. They possibly could just do 1 more maneuver and get into that bottom gate. Let's see if that pans out.
And it was a good downward leg for the Italian challengers. They hit on the start of leg number 3 of 6. Not too far behind. In come Emirates Team New Zealand.
Very controlling, very aggressive move by the Italians right there. I didn't see that coming. Forces the Kiwis, even though the Italians lost a little bit of distance there, it forced the Kiwis into a move right away. So they had to get out of the disturbed air of the Italians.
Any right-hand shift right now, Emirates Team New Zealand are back in this race. If they get a nice tack, could be a port starboard situation coming up, and it looks like we've had a lead change, but a lead change isn't confirmed until they make the cross.
More pressure on our leg.
Yeah, when it attacks, I think we need to protect left if we can.
Yeah, a little lighter here, kicks.
Kiwis on starboard, Stephen. They have the rights.
Hold your breath for just 1 moment. Match 7. Key moment or not. Hold your breath.
Okay, my rudder. Slowly winding up past there.
Crossing.
Lock faster us, please. Happy to gauge up a little. Take some gauge now, just for the safety. Already high. Got to check out on.
It's a big moment in this race. If Team New Zealand can hold to the boundary here, they're going to convert this into a pass, and it'll be our first pass of the America's Cup.
I think it's an easy pass right now.
Get the speed, we start trimming up on high mode here.
They're faster, they're faster.
3, got to tack behind, 4 down. Here we go. May get a hook here.
Fast spot, yeah.
Normal mode. Might get a hook here.
Yeah.
Yep, deputy's good.
And there you have it, folks. A lead change.
Don't blink. It happened.
And everybody says you can't pass in the America's Cup in these 75-footers.
You bet that crowd's happy.
The bottom line, Nathan, is we saw it on the first beat, and we've seen it again. That Kiwi boat is ripping upwind. It is going really fast. We have not seen these speed advantages to either boat yet. This is big.
Yours cover.
Closing in on the halfway stage of race 7. And for the first time in this race, Emirates Team New Zealand lead Luna Rossa around the top mark.
Want to hit.
The Kiwis are smoking right now.
2, 1.
There were all those pre-race rumors, all the whispering of 3 and 4 knot speed differences at time. You know what? We've seen 3 or 4 knot speed differences this race, which is incredible to me, actually.
Leg number 4 of this 7th race in the match 2021 out on course E on the Hauraki Golf. Swinging around like a go-kart, you might say. And they head up on that upwind leg. And suddenly the New Zealand flags fly high on the America's Cup village. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli go around at 29 seconds adrift. That was I'm still stunned. We've seen the first lead change in a race.
Turning up now. What's going down?
This is the boat speed that people have been talking about from Team New Zealand for a long time, and now it's just over that threshold. The speed is there, and they've got the angle back there on the breeze, and they're going same angle, but 3 knots faster.
3, 2, 1.
Emirates Team New Zealand are rounding the top gate for the last time in this 7th race of the America's Cup with a sizable lead on Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, they'll be thinking about why and what went wrong in this race. They strong start by anyone's stretch of the imagination, and they nailed it. Emirates Team New Zealand in a match that featured the first pass of the match win race number 7, and they take a lead. They go up 4-3 when it matters. Let's go on board Emirates Team New Zealand, talk to Peter Burling, a 58-second win. Peter, that's the first time Emirates have gone back-to-back. You win race 6, you win race 7. How big a deal now this psychologically for your team?
Yeah, well, I think we got the last right shift of the breeze. We got that favoured right turn at the bottom, and then the early tack. We're on a massive left phase at that stage, and then got about a 10-degree right-hander, which got us a whole heap closer than they could have been, and from their leave-out tack, we managed to hold in there. So it was kind of, I suppose, a really pleasing thing for us is that we're just a lot of the things we practiced and been talking about, actually seeing them in action.
Nice work, Pete. Practice makes perfect. You got one more race today. Go get them.
Thanks, guys.
On board Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, waiting patiently, and thanks for your time, Francesco. You want to talk us through what went down on that race for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we had a fantastic start. Jimmy did a great job off the line and resisting that laugh. He did really, really well. And we tried to keep them behind us, but obviously without success. We have seen the first pass, unfortunately, was against us. But yeah, we are not giving up. We know that we can still, we won some races and we can still win races. So yeah, we'll keep fighting.
So after days of searching for consistency and inconsistent breeze, the Kiwis find form and pace in stronger winds and go 1 point up. Can the Italians come back? One thing is clear, the Cup is going nowhere without the mother of all fights. For days, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli and Emirates Team New Zealand traded wins. Is this the end of the deadlock? The Kiwis are 1 point up, but don't count the Italians out. There is a lot of racing to come and everything to sail for. Race 8 is about to get underway. Let's head back to the start box. Emirates Team New Zealand has port. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli is on starboard.
Speeds are even now. Good gap to windward right now for Emirates Team New Zealand. Could be a pretty even start coming off the line here.
Yep. Big push here, fellas. Lining up.
Go.
Race 8 of the America's Cup match is on. Clean start by both.
Hey, not super strong here, Pete.
Instantly, they've gone into a high mode on Luna Rossa. They're trying to force Emirates Team New Zealand into attack, and there they go straight away. So first blood goes to Luna Rossa.
There's still just a little bubble of breeze on the left-hand side where Prada are. Still a little bit soft where Emirates Team New Zealand are going. It's going to be very, very close when they come back together.
Nathan, in the past, I'd say this is the race. The cross is the race, and we did see a pass, so we can't be that confident right now. But this is so critical, and it looks like it's gone the way of the Italians.
I think we cross. The top left seems a bit better, but not here.
So they don't tack on him. There was a lot of discussion about where the best pressure was, and 70 metres, maybe that's not far enough of a lead to tack and consolidate, or maybe they think it's a bit softer on the left boundary, but around the race course, wind is trending down everywhere out there at the moment.
Little stretch by the Italians. Confidence booster early on in this race. Nathan, they needed a confidence booster after that first race. Right now, you got to give them credit. Looks like they've chosen the right jib. They've chosen the right side of the race course.
So I'm not looking at the wind on the race course right now. I'm looking a couple of miles upwind. I'm looking to see what's coming, what's going to be on the leg 4, 5 and 6, and it is going to get lighter. The breeze is softening up. Upwind of us, so the rest of this race I expect the breeze to be trending down.
Top gate for the first time in race number 8, and it's Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli leading Emirates Team New Zealand around the right-hand marker. 16 seconds. Now the chase downwind.
And the lead is decreasing here the whole time.
Driving is going straight for us.
Jib on, boys. Jib's open.
Roll it down.
It's getting softer there. Freddie, is it getting softer out there right now?
It's getting super soft, Nathan, as I'm talking. I see Emirates Team New Zealand touchdown in that critical jibe of Prada's hip, and Prada are sailing away in pressure. Emirates Team New Zealand are stuck in the water right now. Huge gains to Prada.
Big mistake number 1 in this series. Big mistake.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli right now sailing away from Emirates Team New Zealand on the second leg of 6 in race 8 of the match. And that face says it all. Flight controller Blair Tuke, they're beached right now. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli about to complete the second leg in race number 8, and they have gapped it on Emirates Team New Zealand, who are still trying to get up on their foils, way back up on the course. First windward leg done by Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, and around they go.
Long way to go here, though, boys.
That's exactly where I was going. I'm thinking we've got 2 more laps to go here, and these guys are going just fine. Luna Rossa are going just fine in the pressure they have, but they've got to go back through that light wind. There we go. Emirates Team New Zealand now up and foiling, so clearly there's enough breeze out there to get up and go, but you've got to find those puffs, and this is a monster of a lead at the moment. And here's a really tight situation. These boats are on different legs. New Zealand will get around them here, but this will be... haven't been that close for a while now, have they?
It's Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli on leg 3. Emirates Team New Zealand still to complete leg number 2.
3. Further.
Yeah, very soft here, very soft.
A bit light out of this, boys.
Mining, power up.
Massive cavitation there, boys, on that one.
Uh-oh, but keep it out of the water, boys. This lead could evaporate very quickly.
If they take off, they might just save this here, but that is what they don't want to be doing. 16 knots is not foiling.
And dropping.
Oh, here it comes.
You do that? Okay.
If you don't think you're going to take off, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Rolly coming up, boys.
There might just be another twist in race number 8 of this America's Cup match. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli as they inch towards the top gate and try and complete leg 3 are off their foils.
So they've decided to stay in the water, get around the mark if they can, and then they'll try to build after the mark.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli just cruise around the top gate and complete leg 3.
This is the race committee. We are shortening the course to 5 legs, finishing at the windward gate.
One more down, one more up. They're taking one leg away from this race course because the breeze has dropped dramatically. Kiwis on the foils, chewing up ground as we speak.
It's a little bit of a puff here. Yeah.
It's a little bit closer. Emirates Team New Zealand. They're tacking away, and now they can see Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
They can see the whites of their eyes right now. This is starting to get scary for the Italians.
They've literally not gone downwind at all.
Freddie, what are you seeing from up there, my friend?
I'm seeing right now, this is the tack of this race, which is coming up on Emirates Team New Zealand. If they stick this tack and foil around the windward gate, there will be a lead change. But Prada are sailing into better pressure on the left-hand side. These are the moments that will decide this race.
Here it comes.
Let's watch this.
What happens?
This is the tack.
One, and forward. Haven't got much yet.
And I think they've nailed it, guys. Still 20 knots of boat speed. They're foiling.
Go deeper. Adjust. Finally. Be real careful to 90 after. Yeah.
Emirates Team New Zealand about to complete the leg.
They're not even close up. They're going to have to jive here on the Italians. This has turned into a full-blown disaster for this boat.
Lead change in race 8. After being way down, and we mean way down, Emirates Team New Zealand lead Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, who cannot at the moment get up on their foils.
It's a fall off the foil, lead again. We've seen it happen once here. There's no reason why it can't happen again. But man, you got to feel for those Italians right now, Nathan. We've all been in crummy spots before, but on the world stage.
One and forward. Pressing with power.
That was so close. So Italians are doing over 24 knots. They're up and foiling, but they're out of the race course. They're going to get another penalty here for being out of the course, and
they don't care at this stage. They're just desperately trying to get on the foils, which it looks like they have. They'll go back in.
You need to get back in the course.
But there's an encouraging sign if you're a fan of the Italian team, up on their foils.
Whoever thought light air sailing would become just so incredibly bizarre, interesting, fun to watch?
How's your balance there, Thursday? Oh, about as good as it's ever going to be with a set-off and 8 knots. Yeah.
Pretty chilled, aren't they?
Jib size, though. They're talking about the jib size. This setup in 8 knots is as good as it's going to be, which means it's not great, but let's just make it work.
Here we go.
2, 1, and forward. All good, you boys. Nice.
Blair 2 calls it. All good, boys.
In one of the craziest races we have seen in this 2021 Cup match, Emirates Team New Zealand have come from behind and are the first team to win 2 races in a single day. They lead 5-3.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, away you go. We're done, boys. Just confirm that. Beautiful. Nice. Just watch that camera catch the no lower, please. No lower.
Time to go on board with flight controller Blair Tuke. Congratulations, mate. You want to talk us through that one?
Yeah, well, what a race. It's certainly one to keep. There was a pretty unreal fight back from the guys there. Obviously, we made a pretty costly error jibing right behind them on the first downwind and fell off the foils, but got it back up reasonably quickly, and then sailed a great race from there. And obviously, they made a mistake in one of the attacks at the top mark here underneath Motor He. It's really light wind and patchy, and they made a mistake, and we just never looked back.
Congratulations. Still a long way to go, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, guys.
Blair Tuke, flight controller for Emirates Team New Zealand, as we go on board Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli, Jimmy Spittle standing by. Jimmy, it felt like you had that one in the bag. Tough.
Oh, never in the bag, as you saw. Pretty tough conditions. And yeah, we were sailing a pretty good race up until then. Unfortunately, we just fell off the foils and really got sort of stuck up at the top mark for some time, just trying to find enough pressure just to get back up on the foils.
One of the words of Francesco Brunellese, just keep fighting, Jimmy. Thanks for your time. Confirmation of where we sit in this America's Cup on the Hauraki Gulf. Emirates Team New Zealand, the Defender 5, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli 3, but it could have been so different. So high drama on the Hauraki Gulf. The Kiwis pay the price for coming off the foils, and then the Italians follow suit. What the weather gods giveth, they can also take away. The deadlock is over. Emirates Team New Zealand have taken a 2-point lead. The Italians are now in the fight of their life.
Today's America's Cup Racing is brought to you by Amiga.